What if I told you that the key to more pleasure, less stress, better sleep, and deeper intimacy in midlife isn't just about balancing your hormones? It's about understanding the invisible system that's been running your life behind the scenes. You see, most of us think that if we just get our estrogen, progesterone, and maybe testosterone just right, everything else will fall into place. We go to our doctors, we try the supplements, maybe we start hormone therapy. And yes, those things matter. But there's something else, something that's been quietly shaping how you feel, how you respond to stress, and how much pleasure you're able to experience. It's your nervous system. And in the last few months, groundbreaking research has revealed that your nervous system is in constant communication with your ovaries beyond reproduction, a conversation that shapes everything from how you experience menopause, how you age, and how alive you feel in your own body. Welcome back to Pleasure in the Pause, the podcast dedicated to empowering midlife women to connect with their bodies, pleasure, and power in perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. I am your host, Gabriella Espinosa, and it is my pleasure to be here with you. Today, we're diving deep into this conversation. We're going to explore why your nervous system might be the missing link you've been looking for, and how understanding it can change everything about how you experience midlife, pleasure, aging, and intimacy. Here's what we'll cover in today's episode. We'll explore what the nervous system actually is and why it's the missing link in how we think about midlife and aging. I'll break down the different states your nervous system moves through, from safety and connection to fight, flight, and freeze, so you can start recognizing them in yourself. We'll look at the fascinating conversation between your hormones and your nervous system, how declining estrogen and progesterone make your body more reactive to stress, and why this isn't just in your head. Then I'll share brand new research from the University of California in San Francisco that reveals how your nervous system is literally woven into your ovaries and why this changes everything we thought we knew about aging and hormonal health. And of course, I'll give you practical, simple tools you can use today to regulate your nervous system. Practices that will help you feel more grounded, more present, and more available for pleasure in all forms. And this is the exciting part. Your nervous system is the foundation upon which all pleasure, connection, and vitality are built. When you learn to partner with it, you're not just surviving midlife, you're creating the conditions to truly thrive. So let's get started. I've shared before here on the podcast how when I hit perimenopause, I was completely blindsided by how anxious and on edge I felt. I remember lying awake at 3 a.m., heart racing, thoughts spinning, feeling like my body was betraying me. I did what most women do. I looked for solutions. I tried supplements, meditation, more exercise, less exercise. Eventually, I started hormone therapy, and I'm so grateful I did. I thought hormone therapy would fix everything so I could just keep going, keep pushing, keep striving, keep pleasing everyone around me. But here's what I realized. Once my hormones received the support they needed, I continued with my life as it used to be, racing to tick off the to-do list, people pleasing, putting myself last. But what my body needed wasn't a fix so I could do more. It needed the opposite. I needed to slow down and listen to what my body actually needed in the way of nourishment, movement, rest, pleasure, and connection. And that's what led me to study the nervous system, how it governs not just our stress response, but our mood, our energy, our sexual desire, and our ability to connect with ourselves and with others. So the nervous system is quite a buzzword these days, but what exactly is it? Think of it as your body's electrical wiring. constantly sending signals between your brain, your organs, your hormones, your muscles, and your emotions. It's what allows you to breathe, digest, feel, love, and respond, often without you even realizing it. This is what's called the autonomic nervous system, and it has two main branches, which you may be familiar with. The sympathetic nervous system, this is your mobilizing energy. It's what wakes you up in the morning, helps you focus, take action, and yes, feel aroused and excited. When it's activated, your heart rate increases, your breathing quickens, blood flows to your muscles. Your body is saying, let's go. It's often called the fight or flight system or our survival system, trying to keep us safe and out of danger. So that doesn't mean it's bad. You actually need sympathetic energy to get things done. It's what gives you drive in work, in creativity, in pleasure, and intimacy. But we all know that too much of a good thing doesn't always serve us. Then there's the parasympathetic nervous system branch. This is your calming energy. It slows your heart rate, deepens your breath, supports digestion, and brings you into rest and digest mode. It's the system that allows you to feel grounded, connected, safe, and it's essential for recovery, healing, and intimacy. We often think and are told we should always be in a calm, parasympathetic state. But in truth, we need both parasympathetic and sympathetic. We need the sympathetic to get things done and to feel desire. And we need the parasympathetic to rest, connect, and receive pleasure. The real magic lies in flexibility, the ability to move fluidly between states as your body needs. And then there's a third branch, the social nervous system. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Scientists like Stephen Porges, the creator of polyvagal theory, or author and polyvagal expert Deb Dana, talk about the social nervous system, the part of our biology that's wired for connection and safety. This system is constantly scanning your environment for cues. Is it safe to relax? Is it safe to speak? Is it safe to be seen, to be touched? When you feel safe, when someone meets your gaze, smiles, or holds your hand, your body's social engagement system activates. Your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, your body opens. You feel calm, present, available for intimacy and connection. But when that system perceives danger, real or imagined, it can pull you into fight, flight, or freeze. And here's the thing. In midlife, when hormones are fluctuating and our resilience feels out of reach, our nervous system becomes more sensitive. We can get stuck in survival states more easily, anxious, reactive, numb, disconnected, and not even realize it. Let's look at the main nervous system states through a midlife lens so you can start recognizing them in yourself. Let's start with safety and connection. You feel calm, grounded, present. You can connect with others, laugh, feel pleasure. This is where intimacy happens. Then we have play and excitement. You're energized. You feel creative in flow state. This is healthy sympathetic activation. Then we have fight or flight. You feel edgy, anxious, irritable. Your heart races, your body tenses. This is extremely common in perimenopause due to fluctuating estrogen and increased cortisol sensitivity. Then we have freeze. You may feel stuck. Your mind says go, but your body says no. You might scroll endlessly, shut down, or avoid what needs attention. Then we have shutdown or numbness. You feel exhausted, hopeless, disconnected. This often follows long-term stress or burnout. And then we have intimacy, a blend of safety and arousal, calm yet alive, open yet grounded. This is where deep pleasure and connection live. What's important to understand is that all of these states serve a purpose. The goal isn't to get rid of any of them. It's to notice where you are and learn to move between them with awareness and compassion. Now, how does all this connect to midlife and your hormones? During perimenopause and menopause, your hormones and nervous system are in constant communication. And understanding this conversation is key to understanding why you feel the way you do. Estrogen supports serotonin and dopamine, those feel good neurotransmitters that help you feel calm, stable, and motivated. Estrogen also has a calming effect on the amygdala, the part of your brain that processes fear and emotional responses. As estrogen declines during perimenopause, your nervous system becomes more reactive to stress. That's why you might suddenly feel more anxious, irritable, or on edge. It's not in your head, it's biology. In midlife, your body also becomes more sensitive to cortisol, your primary stress hormone. When cortisol levels are chronically elevated, it keeps your nervous system in that sympathetic fight or flight state. You feel wired but tired, revved up but exhausted. This is why stress management becomes even more critical in midlife. Your body simply can't handle stress the way it used to. Then we have progesterone, which has a naturally calming anti-anxiety effect on the nervous system. It enhances GABA, a neurotransmitter that promotes relaxation. As progesterone levels decline, especially in perimenopause when ovulation becomes irregular, you lose some of that built-in calm. And then when your hormones start fluctuating wildly, which is what happens in perimenopause, your nervous system has to work overtime to try to maintain balance. And at the same time, life is often so demanding, caring for aging parents, navigating career shifts, relationship changes, empty nests. Your nervous system is carrying a heavy load. So instead of pushing harder, your body is asking you to pause, to tune in, to regulate, to remember that rest isn't laziness, it's biology. Now, here's where it gets really fascinating. And I want to share some brand new research with you that just came out in the last few months that's changing everything we thought we knew about ovarian aging. Scientists at UC San Francisco just published a study in the journal Science that reveals something extraordinary. For decades, we've been told that the ovaries age simply because we lose eggs, that it's all about egg quality and quantity declining. And yes, that's part of it. But this research shows something much bigger. The ovaries age because the entire ecosystem around the eggs changes. And guess what's at the center of that ecosystem? The nervous system. Here's what they found. Sympathetic nerves, the same nerves involved in your fight or flight response, form dense network in your ovaries. And these nerve networks become even more dense as you age. Let that sink in for a moment. Your stress response system is literally woven into your ovaries. The researchers discovered that these sympathetic nerves help decide when eggs start growing and when they stay in reserve. When they removed these nerves in mice, the animals had more eggs in reserve, but fewer that matured. This tells us that your nervous system isn't just affecting your mood or your sleep. It's directly involved in how your ovaries function and age. The study also found that the ovaries of women in their 50s show signs of inflammation and scarring. years earlier than the same scarring appears in other organs like the lungs or liver. The ovary is the first organ to age in the female body, and it's connected to your nervous system in ways we're only just beginning to understand. As a lead researcher, Diana Laird said beautifully, ovarian aging is not just about the egg cells, but about their whole ecosystem. And your nervous system is a huge part of that ecosystem. So, what does this mean for you? When you're living in chronic stress, when your nervous system is stuck in fight or flight, it's not just affecting how you feel emotionally, it's affecting your ovaries, your hormones, your entire reproductive and aging process. Other research is showing that ovarian aging drives systemic aging in women. When your ovaries age, it affects your cardiovascular health, your bone density, your cognitive function, your mood. The risks of age-related diseases rise after menopause or ovary removal. So supporting your ovaries isn't just about fertility, it's about your longevity, your quality of life, your whole body health. And one of the most powerful ways to support your ovaries, regulate your nervous system. This is why nervous system regulation isn't some woo-woo concept. It's biology. It's about giving your body what it needs to function optimally, to age well, to maintain your vitality and aliveness. So, how does all of this connect to pleasure and intimacy? Here's the thing. When your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, in fight, flight, or freeze, pleasure becomes impossible. You might be going through the motions. You might be saying yes when you mean no. You might be in your head analyzing, worrying, thinking about your to-do list when your partner is touching you. That's because pleasure requires safety. It requires you to be in your body, not in your head, to be present to sensation, to surrender into the moment. And you can't do that when your nervous system is scanning for danger or bracing for the next stressor. But here's the other piece. Pleasure also requires the capacity to hold arousal, to hold that healthy sympathetic charge. So many women in midlife have spent years dampening down their energy, their excitement, their aliveness. We've been told to calm down, relax, rest. And while rest is important, we also need to practice feeling that tingle of aliveness, that charge of excitement and desire. The physical and emotional shifts we experience while navigating menopause can disconnect us from the goodness that inherently resides in our bodies. Stress, anxiety, sleeplessness impact our libido and how we experience everyday pleasure and intimacy. When we're not able to tap into this goodness, when we're experiencing fatigue, low libido, not in touch with our desires, we start looking for a quick fix, anything to ignite that spark again, to feel alive. In doing this, we skip the first and most important step to embodying pleasure, regulating and harmonizing our nervous system so we establish a sense of safety in our bodies. When we work with embodiment practices like feeling your feet on the ground, breathing, moving to energize and awaken aliveness, sensory exploration through touch and sound, and relaxation, we learn to sensitize our nervous system, peeling back the layers of stress and tension so we get to feel more, get out of our heads, and get more into our bodies. We are wired for pleasure, but when we are in a constant state of doing and striving with our thinking minds versus being and flowing with our feeling bodies, especially our lower bodies, our hips, our belly, our pelvis, our center of creative, personal, sensual, and sexual power, we get off track, we disconnect, and have to find our way back home. So, how do we actually support the nervous system, especially when it feels frayed? Here are practices I teach and personally use. These aren't complicated. They're simple, accessible, and profoundly effective. Start your mornings with grounding and centering yourself. Before you check your phone, before you start racing to check off that to-do list, place one hand on your heart and take 5 slow, deep breaths. Feel your body. Feel your aliveness. This simple cue tells your nervous system you're safe. Gentle movement. When you feel anxious, instead of pushing through with intense workouts, try slow walks, stretching, or nonlinear movement. Just moving your body in ways that feel good without any goal or structure. Movement helps discharge the sympathetic energy and bring you back to balance. Humming or singing. It may sound silly, but humming stimulates your vagus nerve, the main pathway of your parasympathetic system, helping you feel calm and centered. Try it while you make coffee, or you're driving, or while you're in the shower. Touch and co-regulation. Our nervous systems regulate through connection, eye contact, a hug, a gentle hand on your own heart or your partner's. These are biological signals of safety. Intimacy isn't just emotional, it's nervous system to nervous system. Take micropauses. Throughout the day, ask yourself, what state am I in right now? Am I rushing? Do I feel tense, numb, or open? Then take a micropause, one deep breath, one unclenched jaw, one moment to soften. Feel your feet on the ground. Whenever you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious, literally feel your feet on the floor. Press them down. Notice the contact. This grounds your energy and brings you back into your body and the present moment. Name your nervous system state. Just naming where you are can be powerful. Say to yourself or out loud, I'm in fight or flight right now, or I'm feeling frozen, or I'm actually feeling safe and calm. This act of actually tuning in and naming how you're feeling activates the thinking part of your brain and helps you move out of pure reaction and into choice. Practice holding arousal. This might sound surprising, but practice letting yourself feel excitement, anticipation, aliveness without immediately dampening it down. When something delights you, let yourself feel that fully. This helps you build capacity to hold the charge of pleasure and arousal. Each of these small actions helps you move up and down what psychologist Deb Dana calls the ladder of the nervous system, from shutdown to safety to play, giving your body a felt sense of agency and choice. So let me share with you what this journey actually looks like. First, we're looking at embodied safety and regulation. We're creating safety in the body and working towards regulation of the nervous system. Often we're stuck in freeze or flight or fight. Unless we become aware that this is what we're actually doing, we can default into one particular state for years. Even if you haven't experienced big trauma, the hormonal fluctuations of menopause, midlife changes of kids leaving the house, career and relationship changes, looking after elderly parents, they accumulate in our body and lead to these nervous system states. Once safety and regulation are in place, it leads to a thawing out in the system. Things start to wake up. You start to feel sensations. You can actually start to feel what is going on. Sensations you may have never felt before. My clients tell me all the time, wow, I can't believe the difference after just 4 weeks of doing these super simple practices. I feel softer, more pleasure in my body. My limiting beliefs are shifting. I move and touch my body more. I appreciate my body more. From there, we move into expanding our pleasure, looking at how we feel pleasure in the whole of our lives. Simple things like being out in nature, eating a delicious meal, wearing your favorite color, the things that bring us joy through our senses. When we orient our lives to what is pleasurable and what lights us up, it helps us increase our capacity to feel it every day in all aspects of our lives. Once we've got that capacity for pleasure increased, we can start playing with full body pleasure and then start orienting to sexual pleasure. This is the pathway, and it all begins with your nervous system. So here's what I want you to take away today. Your nervous system is not something to control or fix. It's something to partner with, to befriend. It's the language your body uses to speak to you. It tells you when you need rest, when you need movement, when you need connection, when you need pleasure. When you learn to listen and respond instead of override and push, you begin to live in rhythm with your body again. And that's the real medicine of midlife. Not just hormones or supplements, but nervous system wisdom. Because pleasure, energy, and aliveness don't come from doing more. They come from learning how to be with yourself, body, mind, and heart, exactly where you are. If what I'm sharing today is resonating with you, I want to invite you to go deeper. I've created something special called Awakening Pathways to Pleasure, a 12-week online coaching experience designed specifically for midlife women who want to reconnect with their bodies, awaken their pleasure, and feel confident and alive both in and out of the bedroom. This isn't about fixing yourself. It's about reclaiming the parts of you that have always been there, waiting to be awakened. We start with the foundation, your nervous system. We take you from fight, flight, and freeze to feeling safe and at home in your body. From there, I guide you through science-backed mindfulness practices, the power of touch, breath, movement, and sound to explore what lights you up from the inside out. Imagine lighting that inner spark again, feeling good in your own skin, fueling your life with a continual source of pleasure, aliveness, and vitality. If you're ready to say yes to your pleasure, head over to pleasureinthepause.com. You can book a free discovery call with me, download my free 7-day pleasure body journal, and learn more about my programs. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Pleasure in the Pause. Want to help me spread more pleasure in the world? Please hit subscribe to the podcast and share this episode with a friend, a sister, or any woman you care about. Because when we share these conversations, we remind each other we are not alone. Together, we create ripples of empowerment and support that reach far beyond ourselves. Your support means the world to me. Thank you. Remember, your pleasure matters. The information shared on this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider before making any decisions about your health or treatment. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the host or Pleasure in the Pause.